Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-da ba-ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum dun 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 da 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 dun 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 bum ba da da ba dun 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 da dun da da dun ba dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Hello, my mighties, and hello, my friends in Facebook land. Yes, our site was just down a good part of the day today. We wondered what was going on, but it's back up again. It was our host, apparently. So hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to do something that we all love to do, and that is to talk about homeopathy. And for those of you who do know me and are now old friends, hi, my dear friends. It is great to see you all. So I'm sure you can sense my lower spirit tonight. Yes, our dear Buster left us today. He's gone. He left at 1:35 today. These are some lovely little flowers that our sweet neighbor girl next door, their family has become quite special to us. She picked them for him, for me. And Buster was with us for just over 17 and a half years. He was a home birth. Yes, his mother was a dog that we adored. Her name was Dolly, and we thought this dog is just too perfect to just not let her breed. So we bred. She was a black poodle, and we bred her with a Bichon, and hence Buster. And two of his sisters were born, and his two sisters died quite a while ago. I'm going to say they were both well under 10 years old when they passed away. And Buster stayed with us for a long time, but he took a turn for the worse about 3 days ago, and it was very clear what had to come next. So it's a horrible feeling. You know, it makes you think that we people and animals, but we people, I'm going to put these closer here, need each other. I mean, we all know this, right? People need people. But I don't know, it feels more when one is down, the others prop up. When many are down, one props the other up. It's got to be that way. We're here simultaneously for a reason. And I don't want to talk too long about it because I've got my handkerchief here. And I really don't want to start crying. Yes, and I'm also going to say, my friends out there, all of you who are so thoughtful and so generous, please don't send me anything. Just send me good wishes. Just say prayers for all of us, for everyone on earth, for good to prevail, for us to understand how important it is that we that good prevails, I guess. That he is taking care of us, and we have to remind each other of that. Yes, well, thank you. You're very sweet to say you're sorry. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Now, I didn't take Ignatia. I'm taking Orem. I didn't take anything, actually, till just about 10 minutes ago. And then I just said, I'm not getting over this very readily. So I took Ormatallicum. When my father passed away, many of you may know, I took Ormatal. I took Ignatia. Really didn't do much of anything. I took it again. Still didn't do much of anything. Then took Ignatia. And then the next, finally, 2 or 3 days later, I finally figured out to take Coffea because I wasn't sleeping. And I assumed that it was the Coffea 200 that did it, but I have to say it could have been the Ignatia and Coffea, because that is a combination that the Banerjees often use, and I use it with my clients. I teach it to my students as well. So if I don't get enough relief from this Aurum, it's what it feels like, kind of that dead feeling inside, like, I don't know if I want to even be here. It's that feeling. And I think Aurum's going to take me right out of it. I really do, Aurum. And then if it doesn't, I'll take Coffea as well. And I may take Aurum again tomorrow. And certainly I'll take Coffea tonight before I go to bed. I am accustomed to taking Coffea. So, yeah, his eye is on your buster. But the power of gold, says Leanne. You're right. You're empty vessel. Yeah. A hole. Yeah. That's what it feels like. So sad. Thank you. You're all so wonderful. Little hearts. Thanks, friends. Thank you. So I didn't plan anything because this all started several days ago, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling very creative as to what I was thinking we ought to talk about tonight. So my thought was, why don't I just answer some of your questions? I don't really want to get into protocols, what's the remedy for this or what's the remedy for that, although I know that you love that, and I know most people are benefited by it. But I do want to remind you, before you ask me questions, do know that this blog has been around for almost as long as Buster's been around. And so every week, and regardless of what's happened in my life, I've gotten the blog out. But you needn't even go to my blog. All you need to do is this. If you have a question, let's say it's shin splints, you do this. Joette Calabrese shin splints, and I give you the medicine. The name of the name of the remedy, the potency, and the frequency. Hemorrhoids. Joette Calabrese hemorrhoids. The name of the remedy, the potency, and the frequency. And then you just click on the highlighted blue word, the word that comes up, the remedy comes up in blue, highlighted. You click on that and it takes you somewhere. It takes you, well, unfortunately, it often takes us to Amazon. We've got to somehow figure something else out there, don't we? But it also takes you to Boron, and they offer affiliate programs. And as I've said before, I do not like affiliate programs for myself. I understand why others do it, but I'm not comfortable with it. And so I do not get paid. When you read my blog, I don't get paid for it. I don't get any kickbacks. So I want you to know that. And so when you think about a condition or a question like that, then do check to see if I've already written about it. Is it okay to use OHM liquid drops straight? I do it. Yeah, I do it. I do that all the time. Yep, I've done it too, says Carrie, and Leanne says, and Pat. Yep. People are saying they do it. Yes, excuse me. When is it useful to water dose versus taking the pellets? Well, it's a good question. When the protocol calls for liquid, then do indeed take it in liquid. If the protocol calls for it in pellets, then do indeed take it in pellets. Having said that, when you're running low and you don't have very many of the pellets left, before you order more, I would then put it in water. Joe Banerjee, or Joe De Lavera, who is Joe Pathy, often uses remedies in liquid, and a lot of homeopaths do it. I've known about it for years, and I've done it myself. I personally, and through my clients, have found that it's not as effective in many cases. So that's why I like to follow the directions exactly. If it says on the outside of the bottle, take 4 to 5 pills, take 4 to 5 pills. That's one dose. Homeopathy can be complex, and I work very hard to make it as easy as I possibly can. I want to make this useful for everyday people and for people like you who are not so everyday. But if we add an additional factor, such as now we're using fewer pills or we're putting them in water and we're doing it this way or that way, unless that's truly the directions from someone that you feel very comfortable following, I think I would kind of eschew that. Yes, here we go. Thank you, Natalie. Here's a great article that Joette wrote explaining how to find what she's written on a particular topic. Thank you. What is the importance of taking the correct number of pellets as opposed to just a couple of pellets? Well, I just said it, but let me I'll go one step further. I've gotten to know the pharmacist, the lead pharmacist at Boron. I've gotten to know the owner and the pharmacist very well. They're friends of ours at OHM. I've gotten to know I know many of these homeopathic pharmacists at Hahnemann Pharmacy, at Helios Pharmacy. I've gotten to know these pharmacists, and this is what they've pointed out to me. It's not about them making more money. These pills are so cheap. It's just practically free, for crying out loud, compared to synthetic drugs. No, they have tested, and especially Boron has spent a lot of time on this. They've tested it and have shown that by taking the full dose, it makes the difference. Now, I just admitted recently that oscillococcinum, which is a very good medicine that's used for colds and flus, is a medicine that many of my students and clients report to me has been very beneficial to them. It's one of the top selling medications in all of France. It's very big here. It's Canada, all over Europe, etc. But I have not found it to be very useful. But then it occurred to me that I believe it's my own fault. Oscillococcinum comes in those little teeny tiny vials. And they say to use one full vial as a dose. And I have never done that. And so I have to admit, it's very likely that that's the reason oscillococcinum never works for my family and me. Here I am, giving you all this information, sharing all my vast knowledge. And it turns out I probably have blown that. And so for when I get a cold or flu, which is not very often, but when I do, um, and I take it, I only take maybe a half a vial or a third of a vial. I feel that Oscillo is also granular size, and perhaps now I need to match the volume of the vial. I don't know if that's so, Megan. So the next time I get a cold or a flu or someone in my family, I'm going to insist that we use it by taking the entire vial. And it's not like this. It's a little teeny tiny vial. So will it be more expensive? Oh, it's inconsequential when considering what these medicines deliver. I tell everyone to take one vial of Oscillo every 15 minutes for 3 doses. It often doesn't work in one dose. I think that is so. I have had that reported to me too, Linda McNulty. Yes, thank you. You bet. Let's see what else we've got coming in here. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They are our domestic friends. There's no doubt about it. Let's see what else, if we've got some other questions here. Question. Here's an example of a repertory rubric: gums, inflammation, gingivitis, receding gums, bleeding. I compared remedies in bold that overlapped in all of those rubrics: Merck, Sol, Carbo Vegetabilis. After reading those in the Materia Medica, would you still try to find a 3-legged stool to pick one? Karen is asking that. At least a 2-legged stool, I would try to do that. Because here's the thing, when you choose Mercurius Sol, often there's too much saliva. There might be an odor to the breath. Silica, the hair might be kind of fragile and thin. Carbo Vegetabilis is a remedy that we know for not getting enough oxygen, feeling like oxygen deficient, having a little breathlessness. If any of those, I'm giving you keynotes for each of those medicines. If you can find something about those keynotes that fits the person, yeah, I would do that. Yeah, because what you're doing for gums inflammation, gingivitis, you're absolutely right. It's a very broad rubric. Now we want to tighten it up a little bit. So that's the way I would look at it. What is the cost of sitting in a doctor's office or laying in bed for 3 days? Take the whole dose. Thank you, Leanne. Harry had to reboot. Perry, thank you for being who you are, a good man, a good husband, and a strong person. Oh, my husband was great today with when Buster was going. He was great. And Buster is really Perry's dog. That's who he was connected to. When Buster was born, he was born in my office. As I said, it was a home birth with his mother, Dolly, and his two sisters were born first. And when he was born, he was not moving, and he had not taken his first breath. So my husband got him in his hands, and this is what some say you should do, and this is what my husband did. You get him and you hold him tightly, and you shake one big shake really hard so that they kind of catch their breath like that. And that's exactly what my husband did to Buster when he was just a little tiny little lump of a pup. And Buster took his first breath, and of course his first impression was my husband. He smelled him instantly. And I think he said at that moment, "Are you my father?" Or maybe even my mother. And that impression never ended. Now, I also understand that Bijans, and he's part Bijan, I think he's 1/4 Bijan, um, get very connected to one person. And I think that is a big part of this. So Buster was Perry's dog more than anyone else's. I'm new to the Banerjee protocols, and I'm working with a homeopath on a protocol using high potencies and CM, but now smaller remedies. How long do you think it takes to see a shift? It's too broad, Alyssa. A shift in what? A cold? An ear infection? Chronic gingivitis? Rheumatoid arthritis? It's hard to say, but we generally see a shift in chronic conditions. Generally, within a few weeks, we see something. What do we see? What do we see, my friends? What are we looking for when we're using a homeopathic medicine? We're looking for 3 magic markers, as I call them. Less intensity to the symptom or symptoms, lasting for a shorter period of time, and a larger space between each episode of its occurrence. If any one of those 3 present, you're onto the right medicine, my friend. Question: if you are taking more than one protocol at a time, do you have to space them out? Yes, you should space them out. At least 15 minutes would be a good plan. I mean, some people do it in 6 minutes, certainly, but 15 minutes is a good way to do it. And I've changed it. Sometimes I've said, oh, take it 5 minutes apart. But I really find a good 15 minutes in the mouth and then held on to it for a while and then wait for it to go and then 15 minutes. If a person has 2 chronic conditions, is it okay to use more than one Banerjee protocol simultaneously for each individual condition? Yes, it is, but I warn you that you might find that treating one condition with that protocol may indeed cover other conditions simply without your realizing it, because you may not know that medicine that's being used. And the way you find that out is you look it up in a Materia Medica, and you can do it online for free. You can use my Materia Medica, but more extensive Materia Medicas are available. And then what I urge you to do is to read up on that medicine. You might find that you thought that you had to use a second medicine because your hair was falling. And it turned out that the medicine you're using for the gut covers hair loss as well, so you don't need 2 remedies. And the more tight you get it, the more focused you are, the more tidy you are in your remedy choices, the better your results will be. Okay, duration, intensity, there. Die, sickness, die, says Melissa. I bought saponaria and have no idea what is it used for. You know what? Go to your Materia Medica. If you don't have a Materia Medica, you go online. Dr. James Tyler Kent, Materia Medica. Dr. William Boracke, Materia Medica, and read up on it. I have the flu, but I already know what to take because I have taken many of your classes and listened to your Facebook and have many books. Love your stuff. So just want to say thank you for what you do. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. Thank you for being here. Can cell salts be used in liquids and still be as effective? Yes, they can, but it's kind of following the same idea as what I just said a little earlier. Since you mentioned that Highlands was bought out and that the catalog fails to mention the word homeopathy, do you think they'll stop making their homeopathic 6x, 30x remedy? I don't. So far, there's no indication of that. I wouldn't go jump to that conclusion. How much time between the remedy? Okay, I already talked about that. Several homeopaths are showing videos on how to graft remedies. Do the grafted remedies work as well as the ones you purchase? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest with you. Look, if you have no choice, of course you graft, but you want to buy your remedies from someone who has spent his or her lifetime working as a homeopathic pharmacist, getting every little precise aspect of this science down to a T. Or you could just kind of willy-nilly and just throw it all together and graft it yourself. Look, I'm not saying that grafting won't work. I'm saying if you really want the results that you are hoping to get, that I'm accustomed to observing, I would stay with the finest pharmacies, the American, the British pharmacies, Canadian. I would not buy from an Indian pharmacy. Would not do that. They're just not as regulated. It's not that we love the regulations. Don't get me wrong. But I know these American pharmacies, the ones that I always name, I would not do that. I would not graft unless you have no choice. The remedies are no longer available, and that's all you've got. Okay, I have a question. I struggle with insomnia and often none of the homeopathics help, but taking Rustox 200 with antimonium crude 6 together worked amazingly well for insomnia several times already when I wasn't taking it for insomnia but for cold sores. Can you explain why? Yes, I just explained why. In the medicines, they have a grand ability, much grander than you know unless you're reading that Materia Medica, and even if you're reading the Materia Medica, my friends, the Materia Medicas still don't give us all the answers. Yes, it's apparently exactly what you needed. Isn't it gorgeous? It corrects what needs to be corrected. It doesn't cause side effects. It doesn't cause a new illness. It doesn't suppress disease so that later on you pay for it in the long run. My friend's daughter had what seemed like an appendicitis. Sulfur took care of it. She had stinky stools. Well, I don't know that I would have used those two as the only conditions, but if it worked, it worked. Yes, sulfur can do that. Absolutely. My son presented with appendicitis. Seems like everyone do the Banerjee protocol and see what happens. If it goes away, you know you're on the right track. If it doesn't act, that's information too. Very well put, Melissa. That's information too. Let's see what else we've got. I have to admit, I've done the same thing and had the same lack of response. She's probably talking about the oscillococcinum. Those remedies are also grafted. Well, they're not grafted with the good pharmacies. Practically every homeopathic remedy that I share freely, mostly for friends and dog owners, is because I make the remedy into a liquid in an amber dropper bottle, which I buy by the case. I'm worried about giving too many of my pellets away. So this is what I've done. Is this incorrect? Not if it works. Listen, if it's working, if it's acting, great. No, I think it's fine. That's not grafting, though. That is just a one more dilution, and that is what Joepathy talks about. I don't use that method very often. It's very rare that I do that. But if it is acting, you're correct. You're doing it properly. Let's see. Perry, thanks for being here, says Harry. Thanks for support. Oh, Harry, I got your email. It was very heartfelt. I love getting to know you. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I did not respond. I can't always get to all the emails I get. And I should respond to you, my dear Harry, because you're just you're always there for us. All right. What can Caliphos be used for potassium deficiency? I wouldn't look at it that way. I would look at what is the potassium deficiency causing? Is it fatigue? Potassium deficiency, believe it or not, is often just a teaspoon of salt in water. Believe it or not, it can do wonders. I'm not saying it's going to work perfectly, but I have seen miraculous results when potassium is low or deficient, sort of the same thing in a way, by just putting a teaspoon of salt in water, stirring it so that you can taste the salt in it. Water tastes salty, but not a disgusting salty taste. And bam, often brings the person right around. Struggling very much with a recurring chalazion. I take, I was making it into a Spanish word. I take Staph 30 and heat by yourself. Anything better than that? Yes. Open up your repertory, my friend, and look it up. Look under eyes and look under eruption. And you will, there are many medicines. Calcarb is another one. There are medicines. Okay, I've seen people, silica's another one. I've seen people post about paper remedies, where if you don't have a remedy, you write on a paper and I think graft onto the pills. That sounds strange. I think it is strange. I'm sorry. Hahnemann would be rolling over in his grave. I mean, do what you want to do. I don't want to criticize people for finding ways to live their lives, but I'm going to tell you, that's how it is. It is odd, and I would not encourage that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Visual snow is like what Van Gogh had, is the lesser form of schizophrenia. What difference between potencies act differently with the same remedy? Why different potencies act differently with the same remedy? You've got me on that one, Tammy. It's called posology, and it's a study that can take years to get through, and I don't know that anyone really has an answer to that. But potency does matter. Lycopodium 200 is an excellent medicine for bloating in the gut and also insecurity and some food intolerances and gurgling in the belly. Lycopodium 30 is good for edema. Edema maybe around the ankles, for example, or in the hands. See why is that? It just is. That's the way it works. Vicky, I've seen that about paper remedies too. Oi makes it sound quackery. Yes, and that's the problem. If we want homeopathy to take its place, its rightful place as good medicine on this earth, we must stay away from things that are a little too far out, or use them and kind of, let's try to stay within what is going to help homeopathy. Yes. Yeah, they'll probably find out it's a frequency issue. Yes. When it comes to potency. Some vitamin calc phos helps with weak bones, but can it make the correction the other way if bones are too dense or thick? It's not. I do think of that. That certainly is a consideration. I think you're talking about maybe exostosis, maybe. That's not the first medicine I think of, but yes, I think that it could be of use. Look at that. What is a thick bone? Try to figure out what it is that's being discussed. Is there a growth of bone on the bone? Sometimes that shows up in the shin. Sometimes it shows up in the gum. And then we call that exostosis. And then we think of, Hecla lava, things like that. Okay, thank you. I placed an order with them several weeks ago and never saw the one. Okay, let's see. Helios has their own bioplasma version, a combination of cell salts. I bought the biggest bottle, which is something like 2 cups worth. Yeah. What do you think about purchasing the medicated potencies and unmedicated pill? Oh, yeah. I think that's perfectly fine. Absolutely. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yes. I heard Switzerland, or was it Sweden, government just declared homeopathy power with traditional medicine. Yeah, you know what? It swings. It goes this way. Who's in power? That's always the question. Who is in power. Who's been in power in this country for the last 100 years? Think about that. Who has been in power? I'm not going to give names. Not on Facebook. I'll tell you in my Mighties, but I won't tell you on Facebook. You all know who's been in power. And it was only here, my friends, and then it went to other countries. But until recently, this was an American phenomenon who was in power. And that will tell you who's going to win the game. But the people are coming out. The people are starting to change this. The word is getting out. People are questioning. The jig is, yes, thank you very much. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Rebecca from Battle Creek, Michigan. Yes, that's exactly what's been going on. And I might add, that man had a homeopath. He traveled with his homeopath. He loved his homeopath, but it wasn't for the masses. It was only for him. Yes, yes. Absolutely. Can you put the name of this in the comments? Okay, let's see. Yes, so too. These are conversations between you, which is so lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Cheryl. Yes, thank you, Diane. Okay, I think we have got it. Wow, it's already 8:31. I have to go. I've got a group. If you're not part of one of our Gateway study groups, do consider joining, my friends. Do consider it. It really is an opportunity to be closer friends with others. Many of the friends that have been the friendships that have been bonded are people who are now joining up, actually physically meeting with each other. Oh my, oh my! I just read something from Bob. Okay, thank you for letting us know that. Yes, prayers, my friends, prayers. Prayers is what we need. God love you all. God bless you. Have a great night, and I will see you next week. Bye now.